is what I really hate about pro-black people and the black community as a whole, and even especially black conservatives, particularly black conservatives. And Media Man has done videos on this several times. Is that they'll talk about what the black community, what we need to do to come together, and all this other bullshit. But they never look at the stats on the things that we have accomplished up till now. So, like now when people talk about, oh my God, like the black community is so much crime going on, like it's not. It's just not. All black men are just so violent and so much crime going on in the black community. No, it's not. Literally less than 1%. Less than 1%.
Well,
no, it's less than 1%.
Well, no.
It's less than 1%.
According to what's the stats?
The CDC and the National Crime Stats and FBI says it's
CDC doesn't do crime.
When they do follow violent crime, it's less than 1%.
But when you look, okay, I see what he's trying to say.
I can pull it up, but it is.
You can, but what I'm saying, so where it happens is, black people are there is more overwhelming violent crime in the black community compared to other communities.
Well, I'm about to hit that point too. When it's violent crime, no, actually it's not. When most of the crime in the black community, when you look at arrests, it's actually non-violent crimes. Is mostly for drug possession and property crime. It's not violent crimes. And when you look at when you look at the Innocence Project and you look at who gets released the most, and when you find out they're innocent, it's usually black men.
But the reason why so many of them are over-policed and arrested is because of the overwhelming prevalence of violent crime. Like, I don't go into any other community and worry about violence. Like, I
get what you're saying.
What Media Man is saying is not true. That's just patently false, because there's literally no other community in America other than Latinos where I'm going into a community where I'm scared of violence. I don't go into any Asian communities, any white communities, any Indian Desi communities, any Middle Eastern communities where I'm worrying about crime. That's not true.
And I disagree, because once again, not all black people live in inner city neighborhoods. And again, when you look at arrests, it's still less than 1%. So this idea it's still less than 1%. So this idea,
yeah, but
it's still less than 1%.
It's true, but it's business. That is true, but he's being misleading. Like, there are more black people concentrated in those inner city areas. Yes, not all black people live in the inner city. Many of them live in middle class communities, but within those communities, there's more violence than anywhere else in the country. And no one, again, I mean, Chris Rock said it succinctly, like, if I'm going to the ATM 1:00 in the morning, I'm not worrying about Walter Cronkite robbing me. I'm worried about niggas. Like, that's
again.
He can quote those stats as much as he wants. The FBI crime data shows completely different. People talk, like Mayor Brandon Scott saying Baltimore is the safest it's been in 50 years. Yeah, except when you look at the crime data for 2024. Baltimore is number 3, the most violent city in the country, and through those rankings, through the U.S. News and World Report, ranked the 4th most dangerous city in the country. So what he's saying is that's not true. I'm not scared when I'm in Denton, Maryland. I'm scared when I'm in Park Heights, Baltimore. Like, that's just not true. Like, it is true, like, yeah, when you're in middle-class black communities, like in Charles County, Maryland, or in, parts of PG County, because PG County's got bad, too, because all the black people from D.C. got displaced there, but
again,
like, so if he's when you're talking about, like, middle and upper-class communities where there's black people,
it's still less than 1%. is still less than 1% to
Yeah,
make
but that's
the,
misleading because
it's
black
not
people are
misleading.
only 12% of the population.
I get what you're saying,
And
but
because of that, that shows per capita there's more crime in the black community than anywhere else.
I'm not disagreeing with we can always say the per capita because they always use it. Everybody always want to use the per capita argument. We can argue that. Fine, the per capita we can always go back to that.
Like he's using absolute numbers and not relative numbers.
No,
and that's why I'm saying it's being misleading.
No, because he does acknowledge the per capita argument. He is fair. He acknowledges the per capita argument. He's never disregarded that. The issue is that, for lack of a better term, racists and black misandrists always and divestists always run to the per capita argument.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about like if you're looking at absolute numbers versus relative numbers.
No,
but absolute numbers, sure,
But he acknowledges that, and that's the point I'm making. He acknowledges the per capita. He never disregards that. He acknowledges and says, yes, per capita. He has said it verbatim himself. Yes, per capita. I know what it says. But the raw numbers say this, because
raw numbers is absolute numbers. That's not relative numbers. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm saying he's being misleading. When you say the raw data, you're talking absolute numbers. You're not talking about relative numbers.
But you're not listening to what I'm saying. I said he shows both. This is per capita. He admits, yes, this is what it says per capita. This is what it says in absolute numbers. He's showing both, and he admits both. What I'm saying is that typically we always argue the per capita argument because when you show it in absolute numbers, ours is less. But yes, we always use the per capita because they say, well, you gotta do it by proportion because when you look at the black community, it's listed y'all, and that's the argument that racists and black misanders always use that argument. They always jump to the per capita argument.
Well, I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking
about...
But
I'm saying, but that's the argument they always use. And I say, fine, we can argue the per capita, but at the end of the day, we can argue the per capita is fine, but at the end of the day, it's still less than 1%. So to say that, all black men out here are just criminals and all this.
It's not all, but it is prevalent within the black community amongst black males. That's just the fact.
And I'm willing to accept that, and I'm willing to agree. Yes, we do have somewhat of an issue with crime within the black community. I'm not disregarding that. What I am fighting back against is this notion that every black man is a criminal. No, it's less than 1%, but y'all don't want to admit that.
Well, anyone saying that's just a patently false. What I'm saying is no. It's just there's prevalently more violent crime in the black community than in any other community in America. There's like outside of like reservations or the Latino community. And even the Latino community doesn't have the same numbers when it comes to violence. They have other issues, but that's an aside. But no, I mean I know for a fact I'm more likely to get unalived in some black community than anywhere else. Not by police, not by random rednecks, but by another black dude.
I will agree to disagree. Only reason I say that is because, again, once you factor in which community is more heavily policed.
I'm sure he's saying that from the luxury of not living in the hood.
No, I mean, I don't know the man's backstory, so I can't speak on that. But looking at the data.
Again, he's using absolute numbers. He's not using relative numbers.
All I can say is
per capita doesn't. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about relative numbers. I'm talking about.
I understand what you mean by per capita. Again, he admits, yes, per capita.
I'm saying per capita doesn't mean relative numbers.
I know what per capita means, and he says what per capita means. All I'm saying, my advice to you is just watch the video and look at it for yourself. That's my advice. Watch the video.
I've already seen that FBI crime data. I'm not gonna listen to like a guy trying to push a certain narrative when the FBI crime data is out for 2024.
He uses that too. That's why I'm saying. Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
And again, I just don't like. if I'm in Baltimore, it's more likely I'm going to get shot for no damn reason.
Right. And again,
it's the third most violent city in the country, and it's predominantly black people in that city.
But that's crime in general.
Yes, and predominantly black communities.
No, crime in general. If you're
the highest rates of crime across the nation are in predominantly black communities. Okay. And he's not admitting that, or he's being misleading about that. Yeah, you can say, well, yeah, but not all black people live in those sort of communities.
No, that's true. He never dismissed that. But what I'm saying is, crime is about proximity. So when people make the argument, oh, well,
but that's the other argument that's not true, because people always try to argue that because I used to believe that too. It was like, well, because people will try to dismiss, well, black on black crime isn't really a thing, because it's just mostly crime by proximity, which is true. But even once you factor out proximity, there is still more crime amongst black people than in other communities by proximity. Yes, there's a lot of white on white crime. Like if you look at absolute numbers, there's much more white on white crime. But when you look at relative numbers, the percentage of people like the within those communities is more black on black crime. You're more likely to get unalived by another black person in a black community than in another racist community. Like, because people have talked about that, like the proximity argument, but that's defeated, because even when you look at it, when you factor that into it, it's still a higher prevalence of crime within the black community by proximity than in other, once you factor out proximity thing, than in other communities. Because yes, in other communities, like there's gonna be more Asian on Asian crime, there's gonna be more white on white crime, there's gonna be more Latino on Latino crime, and so forth. But once you factor that proximity thing into it, there's still more. Like I said, and Thomas Sowell's talked about this for decades. He's talking about his black redneck culture. Like black people adopted redneck culture, which we now call hood or thug culture or whatever, but that's something that came from white people from the South. Like it started amongst white people from the South, and you still see more white on white crime in the South amongst white people. But where black people got that degenerate culture comes from the white cracker culture that came to the American South from the Irish and Scottish folks who immigrated there. And we adopted their culture, and now it's still a part of black culture.
Hey, I get what you're saying.
But like I said, it didn't start with us, but we adopted it, and it's become a part of the black community, and it's toxic.
All right. Like I said, I'm always gonna stand on the square. I'm just tired of hearing this. All black men are violent bullshit.
Well, no, anyone who's saying that is just being disingenuous, because it's sort of like with the intelligence argument. Just because within a group you have, people who have a range, a certain intelligence range, general intelligence range, by the measured by IQ, doesn't mean that speaks for every individual within that group. There's always going to be more within group differences. The within group differences are going to be larger than between group differences. So even if you have a community where there's more crime prevalent, doesn't mean that speaks for any individual within that group itself. All that tells you is that within that group there's more violence, but it doesn't say that every individual. But that doesn't mean that every individual in that group themselves are violent.
No, I get that. I'm saying when it comes, my issue is when it comes to black people, when we talk about, especially when we talk to other groups,
people just can't do nuance. That's all.
That too. But that's my issue, though, particularly when it comes to black men and black conservatives, when they try to say, well, the black community, we just violent. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. This is not the 1990s anymore. And most of the time, it's always some old Negro who's talking this shit. I'm like, bro, you were one of the degenerates, most likely.
If it's a boomer, I don't even want to hear that. Like, I've already said this to Marcus. Like, that degenerate shit started with the boomers. Like, that whole shit in the 70s when I'm walking around with the, John Turkey, I'll blast the motherfucking Nick, try step on my silk gators. Like, like that degenerate shit started in the 60s and 70s with the influx of drugs, the prevalence of welfare and all that other sort of crap that destroyed the community. Like, I don't want to hear any boomer talking shit, like, because that shit started under their watch. They didn't start under the silent generation. Like Thomas Sowell, like the silent generation, he said, when I lived in Harlem, he said, you wouldn't hear gunshots in Harlem. He said, I'm sure there was somewhere in the city, you know, someone shot a gun. He said, but he said, it would be so hot at night, sometimes he would sleep outside on the, you know, on the railing and the, you know, whatever, and be safe. And he said he even asked, you know, his family in D.C. at the time. He said, did you ever hear gunshots, you know, through D.C.? He was like, no.
They probably couldn't even own guns. But that's I'm joking.
No, I mean, but he was like, look, he's like, yeah. He's like, you know, his family members said the same thing. He's like, yeah, I'm sure somewhere in D.C. there was some violence popping off, but back then, no. That shit started under the boomer generation. So I don't want to hear anything they got to say. I hate their whole generation. I think their whole generation is a bunch of sociopaths. But that's a different topic. But, yeah.
But then I don't want to hear old black people. I don't want to hear a bunch of ugly black women who can't find men, so they look for white zaddy who just uses them. Because he don't want them either. He'll fuck them, but he's not gonna marry them. The percentage of them getting married to white men is very low. Media Man pointed that out too. But like I said, I'll watch the video because there's probably some points that I'm missing. But if it was to say that the black community isn't violent, that's just patently false. He's not saying the black community, there's no crime or violence in the black community. That's not what his point was. His point was that when we say the argument that black men are just these violent, basically he's combating the stereotype that black men are just these violent sociopaths, and he's like,
well, that much is true.
Like, that's just not true.
So I agree with him on that. But what I'm saying is,
but he never denied.
If you look at them as a group between the ages of 15 to 30, they are the most violent cohort.
But he never denied
by age and race.
But he never
sex.
Well, he never denied. You know, black men there's no crime in the black community amongst black men. That's not what he was saying. The argument was that the ethnic image that black men are just these like we're just out here, you know, raping and pillaging is just.
Well, I mean, you got enough people that keep doing it that reinforces the stereotype. When I can go somewhere and you know, Lil Octavius has on his Pooh Shiesty mask when I'm going into 7-Eleven, like. Or if I'm just going for, and you know, we don't even live in a city, and almost every day is these little YNs walk around the neighborhood, checking everyone's car to see if they can break into it every night. They heard gunshots the other night because someone tried to rob someone because they're too stupid that they didn't realize the guy is sitting in his car when they try to open the car up. And then they get to fighting with him and have him on the ground. Luckily, his friend comes and shoots his gun off in the air. But I hit a gunshot like right in front of my house. Like, and this is the suburbs. You imagine what happens in the city every day. But to hear Mayor Brandon Scott and Governor Wes Moore tell it, oh, we're safe. I feel safe too if I had personal security detail walking me everywhere across the city.
Again, I hear you. I'm not saying, you know, it's perfectly safe, but I'm
not gonna throw every black man under the.
And I think that was his point, is that I'm not gonna throw every black man under the bus just because you have a few bad apples.
You can. I agree with him on that, but you have to be honest about the data. Like, it's just like I say about it's like I talk about any social ill. Like, you can't, if you won't be honest about social ills, you can't fix them. You just because you reach an uncomfortable truth, like, you can't fix things unless you admit that those certain things are bad. Like, when it comes to, like, you know, I'm just gonna throw this out here, like grape. Like, to sit there and say grape is all about power, it's never about sex. Like, yes it is. Like, that doesn't even make sense. or to not acknowledge that was an evolutionary tactic used by beta men. Like, yes, it was. Like, but anyway,
I would say watch the video because I may be missing some points, but I would say watch the video. I'll send it to you. You can tell me where I'm wrong, where I'm probably misinterpreting, but anyway. But like I said, at the end of the day, this is why I hate pro-black people like Umar and black conservatives.
He too busy getting nude selfies while he's painting his school that he already lost.
Right. But to sum it up, this is why I dislike them. Like, have a great disdain for them, because instead of,
and I also hate him because he makes black psychologists look bad. So.
I can see that. Is that a lot of times they don't take the time to at least look at the research. They just parrot white, for lack of a better phrasing, like white supremacist talking points that we always hear, like the same bullshit we always hear that they make up. And I'm like, yo, just look up the shit for yourself. Like
well, the problem is most people don't know how to read statistics.
Then
so even when the average person does look that stuff up, they still don't know what they're looking at.
That's true. But this is where I get
shout out to my alma mater, because they made everyone pretty much like most majors at the school. You still had to take like statistics for your major, regardless of like your major, because they want everyone to be like
well-rounded, which is good.
Numerate.
So, but that leads me back to my other point with black misandrists. You cannot keep claiming to be the most educated but can't read statistics.
Well, the fact that they already
we already know it's a lie. We know.
I know. I'm saying that speaks to the very point. Like, the fact that they keep misquoting something like that just shows that they're statistically illiterate, because they're not the most educated. They're just the most enrolled. On top of that, I mean, everyone knows statistically the highest educated by race and gender are Asian women. Like, it does. Like, what? Like, the closest thing they have to that was the fact that when it came to immigrants for a certain time, Nigerian women who were immigrating to America had the highest level of education. But that's not the same thing as saying
black women.
Well, first of all, it's not that. Yeah, that doesn't equate to black women, and two, that doesn't even equate to the people living here as well. So that just doesn't make sense. They're the most enrolled. That doesn't mean anything if you're not actually finishing the degree.
Yep. And it's funny because this white woman.
That's like someone. That's like comparing like MMA champions to people who just happen to go to a jump from one dojo and MMA gym to the next. We got the most MMA champions. No, you don't. You just happen to be the group that likes to hop into different gyms. You're not competing. You're not what? Like, you actually have to win something to be the champions. To be the most educated, you actually have to get the degree.
Exactly.
So.
But no, that's it, man. It was just funny because I was reading this article. He did release a video on that, but then it was reading this article about how California was they pumped all this money to give women into STEM, and I'm like, this is stupid. I remember that. And it was stupid. I'm like, this is still stupid. And
they don't choose them.
No, that was my point. Yeah, that was my point.
Yeah, because I mean, even Steven Pinker made that point years ago, because they were trying to, when he was talking about they were trying to get people, and he was like, people don't realize there are gender differences in education, and people need to acknowledge that.
I didn't even go with the gender thing. I just said most people in general don't choose STEM fields because it requires upper level math.
Yeah, that, and then when you break it down by gender, overwhelmingly it's more males that choose STEM. Even when you give equal resources to women, say you encourage them to do better in math, like, it does they do tend to be more more math literate when you put more resources into it and push them to not be as math phobic, because women tend to be more math phobic. But even when you factor that into it, they still when given the resources, won't choose STEM.
And it was funny because, you know, I basically called out
A lot of them going into debt for useless degrees.
I just called it what it was. Affirmative action in DEI paved the way for white women to go into these fields, and they didn't do it. So this white woman was like, no, DEI did not help white women and Asian women.
Yes, it did.
No, I told her. Like, I'm like, yeah, I told him, like, DEI only helped women and white women overall. But you know, white women like to tether themselves to Asian women for some reason. I don't know how. But she's like, DEI did nothing for white women or Asian women. And I'm like, ma'am, you're lying. Like,
I don't even discuss shit with white.
I didn't say nothing to her. I was talking to another dude because somebody else responded. I'm like, I didn't even respond to it.
Okay,
I'm like, I was talking to somebody else.
I don't debate with white liberal women because they're.
That's not even a liberal woman. That's a conservative. Well, I don't even know what to call them because they both say the same shit.
I know. That's why Pearl started calling them out. She was like, white conservative women are just as bad as white liberal women.
They are white conservative.
She said
women,
she was like they're actually both feminists.
Yeah, white conservative. Only difference is actually it wasn't even her. It was actually a white dude, who does a podcast. I forgot his name. But he actually called out Tommy Lauren because he's like, "You're just a feminist."
Yeah, Pearl called her out too on that.
Man, fuck Pearl. Oh, fuck that bitch.
No, but she's gotten much better now that she's not trying to be queen of the Black Manosphere.
Nope. After you made fun of what's his face for having to get surgery because he had testicular cancer, and you brought a white supremacist on your platform and was kikiing with him, nah.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, she's black pill, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not cool with her like that. But I'm just saying, no,
I'm not going to support your channel
when she's on.
I can't support you. I get what you're saying though.
I'm saying I'm not biased. I'll acknowledge, knowledge wherever it comes from. So when someone is speaking facts, I'm gonna acknowledge.
Oh no, I agree with you. I'm just not gonna watch her stuff. So I didn't know what she said. Look, I agree with Margie Taylor Greene on some shit. I never thought I'd be saying some shit like that. And I agree with Margie Taylor. Like, who would have thought? But anyway. But yeah, like, white conservative women.
And she's not the only one. The guy from whatever clips. I mean, from the whatever podcast. Is
it a white guy? He got like a beard and he's over in a circle? Him. That's what I was talking about. I can't remember his name. But yeah, he brought up, like, you're talking the same shit that feminists are talking. You're just saying it from a conservative perspective.
A lot of people pull Tommy Lauren's card like she's just a feminist. Like she's full of it.
Yeah, you're just conservative. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm glad somebody pulled that card.
The conservative feminists now call themselves
traditional
trad cons and trad wives. Like that's just a euphemism for conservative feminists.
I'm glad people start calling no matter how you try to cut it, traditional women or liberal, like they're all the same.
And then they call themselves traditional because they are at home cooking and cleaning, but that's only because they got they're married to multi-million-dollar husbands. So
right, because you can afford to do that. That doesn't work in reality. So you're out of
traditional
touch.
Women do work. It's just that when
they just don't have millions to stay at home. And I like I said, it's always funny when I hear white women talk about traditional households and how women didn't work. I'm like, no, white women didn't work.
No, I'm saying that's why I like Pearl, because like I said, being that she's a white woman and she's in that same space as those women, she calls them out on their shit, and that infuriates them because they
think she's gonna be on their side.
Yeah, because it's like she's betraying the flock.
She's going against the sisterhood.
Yeah, that's why I like seeing her talking trash about them, because she's part of that ilk, so to speak, and to see her just trashing them is hilarious.
No, I get it, but like I said, it's just funny just watching them implode. It's fun to watch.
I'm gonna have to edit some of this stuff.
Probably so. But it's just funny watching all this stuff implode. Like, black women don't know what to do now. They're trying to do the
because they lost 300,000 jobs in the federal government.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Now I'm not gonna, and I don't find that funny. I don't find it funny. I know some dudes was cracking up finding it funny.
I wasn't laughing, but I wasn't exactly boo-hooing either.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Because most of those federal jobs were.
I don't care what their job was. I just don't. I'm not gonna say I'm celebrating it, but I'm not. I don't care. I'm indifferent because these same women were the ones talking shit about black men.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with
and
it.
Y'all can't step to our level because we making so much money.
And the stats don't even bear that out either, because when you look at the average income of black men and black women,
we're still making more.
Black men are lesser educated, but they're still making more money.
And we own most of the black businesses, black men. So we don't need to get into all that. But the point is, what made it even more funny was the spin that a lot of, I guess, black-owned media tried to put on it, like, or some black women try to say these women left their jobs to become entrepreneurs, or they're going to be all right because they're going to start businesses, or they became entrepreneurs. That's why they lost their jobs. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me your argument is that 300,000 women quit their jobs and overnight became business owners? That's your argument. That's what you're going to say.
This is why.
Okay.
This is why I say I'm glad that I've taken probability, logic, and statistics, because knowing those three things on top of having a background.
You don't even have to know that to even.
No, I'm just saying being versed in mathematical logic and in statistics can inoculate you from a lot of bullshit.
So it was this Facebook group that's like in the DM that shows events and stuff going on DMV. So they were talking about it, and I said it. I'm like, well, and again, unfortunately, with humans, you have to put a disclaimer on everything to let them know you're being sarcastic. And I basically said, like, well, they became entrepreneurs, and then, all the black women, no, they didn't. Why would you believe that? But. So I'm like, this is what y'all was saying. This is what y'all were saying these women were doing when they lost their jobs. So I had to go back and edit. Hey, I was being sarcastic because this is what black women were saying happened to these black women, that they became entrepreneurs when they lost their jobs. This is the lie that y'all said. I'm repeating the lie you said, and you get mad at me.
That's why I wouldn't get into those pointless discussions.
It wasn't a discussion. I just found it was funny. It was just funny to me. But like I said, I'm not cheering, but I'm not sad neither. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't care. All the things I've been through, I just don't care. I'm not celebrating, but I just don't care.
Exactly. Like I said, the reach back now is fierce. It's just fierce now, cause now, motherfuckers not dating no more. Motherfuckers ain't, stopping to help no more. Motherfuckers is just chilling in the house.
Well, I guess since they like to enroll and stuff, I guess they can, according to O'Shea Duke Jackson, they can enroll in Clapathon University.
You ain't got no money. You can't enroll nowhere. Them programs cut.
No, they can enroll in Clapathon University. They got a 100% federal student aid.
But nah,
that's how they make their money. Only claps.
Like I said, once you have,
I should patent pen that. Only claps.
Once you have a 18-year-old making over $1 million in
because people are waiting for her to turn 18 just so she can go to OnlyFans as soon as she did.
Instant millionaire. But it's the fact that
that just shows how many simps there are out in
exactly.
the world. And I don't know why people are so surprised. Like, if you read any social media platform, if you go to like Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and you see a female influencer or someone who's like, posting thirst traps, and you'll just see a chain of thirsty dudes. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh, will you marry me? I'll slurp it up right now. like
What do you
and
think
I
is
thought,
gonna happen?
like, is this like? Of course, that's why they go to OnlyFans. Like, you can't be mad at them for doing what's.
Oh no, I'm not mad at the girl.
No, no, I'm not you. I'm talking about people who can't be mad at talking of this phenomena
Yeah,
with the clapathon if they are rewarded for it. So
exactly. No, I'm not mad.
stop rewarding the clapathon.
And you wouldn't have these issues.
Yeah.
No, it was just funny because she said, because now women are mad that she said if you're a woman over 25 and you're still working a regular job, you're a loser.
Oh, those influencers.
Oh no, it's the same. It's the same woman that did, same little girl that did the OnlyFans.
Oh, they're fugazi. Like one person, one person out of millions does something, and they try to normalize it for everyone else. Like that's just like Andrew Tate. Like, but I don't even want to get into that. I don't. That's a discussion for another day.
But at the end of the day, I just find the main thing I did find funny about the Lil Tate situation was.
No, I was talking about Andrew Tate.
Oh no. I'm talking about the girl that started the OnlyFans. Her name is Little Tay or whatever.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, what I found funny about it was, I'm gonna wrap this up, was that women got mad at men for buying it and saying you guys are creeps.
They did the same thing when
the other white girl
meet me outside, cash me outside.
Yeah, and I'm
like, how are you gonna shame the people who? It's just virtue signaling.
I know it's virtue signaling. I'm like, look, if she's old enough to sell it, then goddamn it, they could buy it. Same thing with Shannon Sharp. She's 19. She's selling box.
He's still a simp, and I think, and he went a long way just to try to prove he's not gay. But whatever.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, she's selling box, and I told somebody, I was like, yo, so you gonna tell me she's old enough to sell it, but he's too old to buy it? But the customers in her age range, the guys in her age range, they can't afford it. So where's the issue here? And on one hand, you tell these young women, yeah, girl, chase the bag, and if a dude want to talk to you, he has to cough up money and pay a bill. Their peers can't afford it. What 19-year-old's gonna like? Come on now. She's 19. She's dating a dude who's 19, and she tells another 19-year-old, you gotta pay my rent. If you want to talk to me, if you want to date me.
And that's the thing. They don't. They let him clap it up for free, and then they charge the 40-year-old guy.
Right. And look, fair exchange is no robbery. I am okay with it. My issue is these heifers getting mad that this bitch is selling pussy. I know. I'm sorry. You gonna have to edit that out. But this bitch selling pussy for an exorbitant amount of money, and mad that this man who just happens to have an exorbitant amount of money can afford it. And the only reason these bitches are mad is because the pussy he bought wasn't black. That's it. I swear that is my theory.
Wait till they see who
that's my theory.
Falcon is dating right now. Captain America.
Oh no, they already know she not black, she white.
No, then he was giving her the stare down too. That's what made it funny. I'm like, wait till they they gonna be mad at him.
Fuck yeah. And you know what? I'm happy for Anthony Mackie, because you know why? I'm guarantee you, because right now it's at 21% of all black men that are married. 21% are married out.
Yep.
So it was only 30% of black men who are married.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because it's only like 31% of black men who are married.
Yeah, it's like 36. It's
like but it was about 31, 33, something like that.
It's low. But out of that 30%, let's just say 30 for sake of argument. Out of that 30% that are married, 20% of them are married interracially.
It was 15.
No, it was 15 last year. This year is 21.
Well,
it jumped
looking
up,
at the newest one,
No, it jumped up 6%. Last year it was 15. Well, 2020.
No, it was 15 as of the current. So what he was saying, it went up by
6%.
By whatever, but it was like 15% currently, because like at 2015 they were saying it jumped up 21% since 2015. So now it's currently at 15%, because like in like 2010 it was about 12% or something like that.
Is that 20%? In 2013, it was about 15%. 2023, it was sitting at 15%. 2024, it jumped up 6%, so it was sitting at 21%. So I predict if it keeps on this trend, by 2027, nearly all marriage, nearly all black men gonna be interracially married, or if not most black men that are married.
Yeah, because since fewer of them, the funny thing is fewer of them are getting married, but the ones who are getting married, you're seeing many of them marry interracially. So
yeah, that's what I said, and I'm happy for them. I hope, and if it works, I'm happy for them, because god damn it, I'll be damned if you gonna tell me, a 50-something-year-old man, what kind of pussy I can buy with my money.
All right, let me edit this.
Yeah,
This will be too much to edit.